What if I told you that the biggest nuclear threats to America didn't come from Russia, China, or any foreign power, but from within? There have been moments in history when the United States came dangerously close to nuking itself, not during war, not in conflict, but by sheer accident. These aren't scenes from a movie. They're real, documented, and buried under the code name Broken Arrow. So what exactly is a broken arrow? The term refers to an unexpected event involving nuclear weapons that doesn't pose an immediate risk of war, but still results in the accidental launching, firing, detonating, theft, or loss of a nuclear device. And there have been at least 32 of them in U.S. history. Some were near misses, others terrifyingly close to catastrophe. Let's uncover the most chilling cases, the ones where we came this close to annihilation. The 1961 Goldsboro incident, the nuclear heart attack that almost wiped out North Carolina, January 24, 1961. A B-52 bomber carrying two 3.8 megaton nuclear bombs was flying over Goldsboro, North Carolina. Each of those bombs was 250 times more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima. Think about that for a second. Due to a fuel leak, the plane broke apart mid-air. As it disintegrated, both nukes were accidentally released. One of them deployed its parachute and began its arming sequence exactly as if it had been dropped deliberately. Here's where it gets chilling. Of the 4 safety mechanisms designed to prevent detonation, 3 failed. The last one, a single low-voltage switch, is all that stopped a nuclear explosion that would have killed tens of thousands instantly and irradiated the eastern seaboard. Years later, a government engineer named Parker F. Jones wrote a report bluntly titled, "How I Learned to Mistrust the H-Bomb." He concluded, the bomb did not possess adequate safety for the airborne alert role in the B-52. In simpler words, we got lucky, terrifyingly lucky. 1950, the lost nuke over British Columbia. Imagine losing a nuclear bomb. That's exactly what happened in February 1950. A U.S. Air Force B-36 bomber was on a simulated combat mission carrying a Mark IV nuclear bomb, not armed with a plutonium core, but still packed with uranium and high explosives. After experiencing engine trouble over the Pacific Northwest, the crew jettisoned the bomb over the coastal mountains of British Columbia before bailing out. The bomb detonated mid-air, scattering radioactive materials across a remote region. The wreckage of the bomber wasn't found until 3 years later, and the exact location of the bomb's remains? Still debated. Some theorists believe it may have contaminated the area far more than reported. 1958, the Tybee Island bomb that's still missing. One of the most mysterious broken arrows occurred off the coast of Georgia. In February 1958, during a training mission, a B-47 bomber collided with an F-86 fighter jet midair. To stabilize the aircraft, the crew dropped its nuclear bomb into the waters near Tybee Island. The 7,600-pound bomb, equipped with a uranium core, was never recovered. The U.S. military conducted multiple searches but declared the bomb irretrievable. To this day, that nuclear weapon lies somewhere off the east coast of the United States. Still active? Still dangerous? The official stance is that it poses no threat, but locals and some scientists disagree. If disturbed, the bomb could leak radioactive material or worse. 1968. The Thule Air Base disaster in Greenland. Fast forward to January 1968. A U.S. B-52 bomber crashed near Thule Air Base in Greenland while carrying 4 hydrogen bombs. The crew had abandoned the aircraft due to a cabin fire, and when the plane crashed into the ice, it exploded, dispersing radioactive debris across the area. The cleanup operation was immense and controversial. Ice and snow were shipped back to the U.S. for analysis, and thousands of tons of contaminated material were removed. But some believe not all the bombs were recovered. In fact, declassified documents suggest that one bomb may still be buried under the ice cap. Danish workers involved in the cleanup later developed high rates of cancer, raising serious questions about the long-term effects. 1980, the Damascus Titan missile explosion. Now let's talk about the most Hollywood-sounding yet 100% real broken arrow incident. In 1980, at a Titan II missile silo in Damascus, Arkansas, a maintenance worker accidentally dropped a socket wrench. That single tool punctured the missile's fuel tank, causing a massive fuel leak. Inside that silo was a nuclear warhead with 9 million tons of TNT-equivalent destructive power. For 9 hours, technicians scrambled to contain the situation, but around 3 a.m., the missile exploded, blasting the 740-ton launch duct into the air. Miraculously, the warhead didn't detonate, but the explosion killed 1 airman and injured 21 others. The fact that a dropped tool nearly triggered a nuclear disaster again proves just how delicate the line is between safety and catastrophe. The Cold War and the pressure to stay armed and alert. During the Cold War, the U.S. kept dozens of bombers in the air at all times, loaded with live nuclear weapons. The idea was to ensure readiness in case of a Soviet first strike, but this airborne alert strategy led directly to multiple broken arrow incidents, because the more nukes you have flying around, the higher the risk of an accident. In 1966, another B-52 bomber collided with a tanker mid-air over Palomares, Spain. 4 hydrogen bombs were released. 2 detonated conventionally on impact, spreading plutonium over the Spanish countryside. It took months of cleanup and international controversy to contain the damage. And the psychological impact? Even greater. What happens during a broken arrow today? While we'd like to think broken arrows are a relic of the Cold War, they're not. The U.S. still maintains a massive nuclear arsenal. While technology and protocols have improved, the risk isn't zero. In fact, in 2007, a B-52 accidentally flew across the U.S., armed with 6 nuclear warheads, and no one realized it for 36 hours. That incident sparked investigations and exposed serious gaps in nuclear security. If that sounds alarming, that's because it is. Nuclear weapons aren't just about geopolitics. They're about control, discipline, and razor-thin margins for error. What's been learned? Every broken arrow has taught military and civilian leaders hard lessons. From improving fail-safes to tightening command chains, the system has evolved, but the fact remains, we've come dangerously close to catastrophe multiple times. And in many cases, we were saved not by design, but by sheer luck. Parker Jones, the engineer from the Goldsboro incident, once said, "The bomb was one switch away from detonation." Just one. And that was back in 1961. Now imagine how many switches, metaphorical and literal, are in play today. It's easy to believe that a nuclear disaster can only happen during war. But history tells a different story. Whether it's a dropped wrench, a mid-air collision, or a forgotten warhead, the United States has faced its own nuclear threats from within. So the next time someone says broken arrow, remember it doesn't mean fiction. It means we've already stared into the abyss and walked away. But just barely. If you found this story as shocking and eye-opening as we did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling us which incident shocked you the most, and share this video with someone who thinks nukes are only a foreign threat. We've got more declassified secrets coming soon. You won't want to miss them. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Stay informed.